Peter Eliades with you for Stock Market Cycles Update. March 31st, the end of the month, Tuesday, March 31st. The chart you're looking at is a simple bar chart, intraday chart, daily chart of the S&P 500 index. Going back to, well, here's the January of 18 high back here. Now, take a look at this chart for a while. And this is the fine art of technical analysis. And believe me, I don't claim to be a fine artist, but I've been around technical analysis for a long time. And what you do with charts like these is you try to be a little bit creative. Look at things that maybe no one else is looking at to give you a clue. I shouldn't say no one else, but few other people are looking at to give you a clue as to where support and resistance might be. I mean, a simple technician would look at these lows here and say, well, that's going to be resistance if you get up to it. This will be resistance if you get up to it. This will be resistance if you get up to it. We haven't reached any of those points yet. But is there somewhere near where we are now that might be resistance for one reason or another? Think a little bit creatively. Let me show you my version of this chart. Look what we have. It gives you a slightly different view overall of the market for the last little over 2 years, going back to January of 18. So now look at this. Here is the January of 18 high. Here's the all-time high on the S&P that occurred on February 19th. Two very important turns on the S&P. Let's do a parallel channel. Well, the obvious place to do the parallel channel is the lowest point in between the two highs. Here's the lowest point between the two highs. The Christmas low occurred on December 26th of 2018, as most of you know who have been following the market closely. Now watch this. Look what's happening here. We broke well below the lower part of that tentative channel. That occurred on the gap down on March 12th and continued to move down significantly. And now what have we done? Well, as a technician, you know we've rallied back to the underside of that lower channel. Is there anything else going on there? Well, guess what? Let's take a look at Fibonacci retracements. Here's the all-time high. That occurred at 3,000, can you read that? 33.93. Yeah, it looks like 33.93.52 on the 19th of this year. 33.93.52. You can see where it says high in the little box there. And here's the low on March 23rd. The low on March 23rd, 21.91.86. I'm not going to ask you to do the math because the computer does it for you. But here's the 382 right here. The 382 retracement. Let's zoom in on this for you so there won't be any doubt. We'll just zoom in on this section that we're looking at the retracements for. And it is 26.50.89, I think. What did we come up to in the last couple of days? Here's a 26.37. Today the high was 26.41. So very, very close to a 382 retracement. That's the pink line, by the way. So the pink line is the 382. The lower channel line that I just showed you is this dark blue line right here. Now, they almost met exactly today, the 382 and this blue line. And we came really, really close to hitting it and started selling off. So this, as we look at it now, is an important technical level. So we've looked at that. This is strictly technical, has nothing to do with cycles or cycle projections. I wanted to show you this because when you see this on the technical side of the market, you begin to look perhaps at the cycle projections with a slightly different perspective. So let's go to our cycle projections now. First one we'll look at will be the intraday projections. And let's look at this chart right here. This is the S&P bar chart. So as you know, we now have an outstanding upside projection. These are 7 to 8 day offsets, nominal 20-day projection, 27.72.53, 28.72.35. So you say, well, wait a minute, Eliades. You're telling us that we may find resistance here, and then you're showing us these projections? Yeah, this is the real world, folks, okay? This is what we have to deal with. So we know that there could be resistance right here based on the chart I just showed you, but we also know the projections are telling us the odds favor us getting up to this projection window. So which one is going to be right? Well, I guess all the little naysayers out there are going to say, so you're telling us either we're going to stop here or we're not. No, I'm not telling you that at all. What I'm telling you is you want to approach the market with a perspective that you're ready for some strongly probable things to happen. This is strongly probable. Odds on it, I don't know, at least 65, 70%. But that of course, leaves the 30, 35% that we're not going to reach that level. If we don't reach it, how do we know we're not going to reach it? Did I see some hands out there? Yeah. It's either met or invalidated. Now, it's going to be almost impossible to invalidate it over the next day or two because you've got to go back down to the old lows again. But guess what happens on, this is Wednesday, Thursday, here's Friday of this week. Friday and Monday, look at this. We just need a not even a significant decline to invalidate that upside projection. What about the next longer offset that we've showed you? Well, the next longer offset is this one right here, and this is 12.1 to 13.8 trading days. Now here's the projection, the nominal 20-day, overlaid on this chart. Remember back here, this is Monday, Tuesday of this week, Thursday, Friday. On the update we did on Thursday, we said we would not be surprised if we reach this projection, but not immediately. Some kind of sideways to downward move first, so that perhaps if we do cross above the red and the blue lines here, which are the 2.5 week offsets for a nominal 5 week projection, they might occur somewhere down here around the level that would give you about the same projection. And look what's happened the last couple of days. We had the sell-off today, close near the lower end of the day. If we get a follow-through to the downside tomorrow, especially if it's a big down day, then we're down in the territory where a move sideways from there to up would give us a projection into the same general area as the nominal 20-day projection that we already have. Okay? So these are the intraday charts. Let's rather quickly look at the closing price charts because we're used to looking at those too. Okay, for the closing price charts, this is the nominal 20-day projection closing prices, 26.99.42 to 28.65.50 rounded off. Are we going to reach there? Well, the odds favor us reaching there, and for the next couple of days, chances are not very good that we're going to invalidate it. But come the end of this week, the beginning of next week, right around here, we could easily invalidate this upside projection if we have not yet reached it. Okay, so, but if we're going to get up here, are we going to get higher? Well, we look at the next offset, and we've done this exercise already, but let's repeat it. Look what's happening now. We got a preliminary upside yesterday, and that was way up here. That was up around the 29.30 level. But today, we came back down below both of the offsets right here. We're looking at the light blue line as the close. And if we have some kind of follow-through decline tomorrow, then we could see this come down into this area. And if we are going to go to higher highs than we've seen over the last week, then a projection might again duplicate pretty closely this projection, which is the nominal 20-day upside projection. If we get down here on a closing basis and then rally up, we're going to get right around this same projection area again. And the final thing to look at is if we do get a dual projection to around the same area, what does that tell us about the future from there? Well, we've showed you this chart before, and look at all the space you've got up here. If we get a projection up in here, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 trading days that we can stay below here without getting another projection. So these are things that we're looking at, things that will be important over the next several days. Okay, now the logical thing we want to look at now, and several of you asked us about it, and it was intelligent of you to ask us about it, is you haven't showed us the NASDAQ 100, the NDX, for a couple of days. Well, let's take a look at the NDX. Okay, here's the NDX. This projection was given, then we went above the line again, even both of them maybe reaffirmed when it came down here. We've had this big rally trying to get back above these offset lines, has not done it yet. These are 98.6 and 110, 98.6 and 110.6. These are the 20-week offsets that give nominal 40-week projections. And those projections remain in effect, and look what they call for. Way down here, folks. These projections remain in effect. The only way to get rid of them would be to get back above both of these lines. Okay, we're talking about 83.55 or so. So that's a big rally. That's 6-7% rally. We've seen rallies like that in the last month or so, but that would be a big rally, and we got up there. That would invalidate the projection. But as of now, this projection remains in effect. Let's look at the next longer projection. This is the nominal 78 to 80-week projection. Now, this one is a slightly different story. Look at this one. As of the close today, we're above both of these offset lines. Remember, down here, we got this significantly lower projection, okay? But now we've gone above it. I think I told you the other day that I would not be surprised to see moves back above and below this line for the price to play with this line for several days, and that's what it's doing here. Look what's happened. It got above, it got below, it got above, it got back down to, and now we'll see what happens in the next day or two. So if we get convincingly below this again, then this projection, or somewhere near here, will remain in effect. And that's where we stand as of today. We have a lot of things to look for, but we've got a lot of good clues too. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Bottom right of your screen, click on the little red banner. Once you do that, click on the notification bell, and that will notify you anytime a new update goes on, whether it be a regularly scheduled one later in the day, and it could be a special update that we do during daytime hours. You'll be notified however those updates are done. And we're going to have, hopefully, some good news for you within a few days about this projection software. We're getting close, so I don't want to give you false hope yet, but we are getting close. Thanks for watching.